Hey everyone, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from the Challenge Championship and the Collins Cup. We're brought to you by Master Spa's Hyperice, Form Smart Swim Goggles, UCAN, HOKA, One, Class USA, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, Mr. Jackson Laundry, who is ranked number 26 by the PTO and was a captain's pick for the international team. How you doing, Jackson?
Good, Bob. Good. It's good to be here.
So I was taking a look at that really nasty scar that you've got on your shoulder. Explain to me when that happened and how long it took to come back from that.
Yeah, so that was 2019 Ironman 70.3 World Championships in Nice, France. For those who don't know, that's a very technical course. Very challenging course. I was actually there early. I had ridden the descent a couple times. I was feeling pretty confident, but unfortunately, I just kind of got moving on too fast on one of those turns on the descent, and it was kind of a blind turn. There was like a big wall to our right, so we couldn't see through the turn. So that kind of threw me off a bit, and I took it with too much speed, and I ended up crashing into it was like a post that was supporting the barricade.
Yes.
So it wasn't like a cliff at the other side, but it was like an embankment. It probably would have been bad if that wasn't there, but
yeah.
I did break my scapula in a lot of different places, and I broke my collarbone as well. So that was a pretty tough injury, very tough day, just getting to the hospital from, up in the kind of middle
You're out in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So how did they have to send an ambulance up there? What'd they do?
They did. I was probably there for close to an hour before the ambulance got there.
Wow.
And
Did
everything was so
other
broken.
guys stop?
Yeah, there were some volunteers that had seen me, and like there was a guy on a moto who I think might have actually been an official, who was the one who was like right with me, and he stayed for a bit, and it was a tough few hours because there's really no comfortable way to hold your arm to support your shoulder, because when you break the collarbone and the scapula, you then have a floating shoulder, it's called, so you have nothing to support it anymore. So I'm trying to support my shoulder like this, and I basically had to. The best way was to jam my leg up and to hold it with my leg.
Yeah.
So it was just a tough few hours getting to the hospital on these windy, bumpy roads, and every turn was like an excruciating pain. So that was definitely a much harder, day than anything else I've done, I would say.
Yeah.
But the recovery from there, flew back to Canada, got a few opinions, and got to like the best surgeon we could for that, who was familiar with working with athletes and specialized in orthopedic surgery of the shoulder.
Right.
And he actually was able to consult with some other leading field experts. So I got the exact right treatment I needed. And that was Dr. Patrick Henry, who's really well renowned. And yeah, I mean, the recovery started right away, even before the surgery, because it was an 11-day gap between the crash and the surgery. I, went on the treadmill, walked, did some body weight squats, anything I could do, and then the surgery it's almost like getting re-injured again, because
they have to re-break.
Right, they had to re-break and put metal in. There's 2 plates in the bottom of my scapula, 2 screws through the front of my scapula, and then they put the hook plate over my collarbone.
And that stays. All that stuff stays.
The hook plate had to come out 3 months later.
Okay.
So once that went in, there was a few really bad days, but it really started to pick up recovery-wise, because there was now some stability in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, start working on passive range of motion, then active range of motion, and you just kind of work your way up from nothing. And I actually found the recovery process, it was pretty encouraging, because every day I was getting better. Every day I could notice a difference.
Gains, yeah.
I'm moving an extra inch, or whatever. So it was just like, I got to get back to where I was. And so that was my mission. And 6 months after the crash, I raced again in Mexico at 70.3 Campeche, just before the pandemic hit. Really, as the pandemic was hitting, that race just squeaked in there.
I was going to say, yeah.
That's some countries were locked down already.
Yep. U.S. started like the 11th or 12th. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a race there, and I was able to finish second. Matt Hansen won that race, and I had a pretty good swim. I swam with the main lead group.
Wow,
it was awesome. So that was pretty cool. And then obviously 2020 was what everybody knows. So.
Yes. Well, but 2021, you've been a little bit on fire. You won 70.3 Mount Tremblant. You won 70.3 Ecuador, third at Des Moines, 5th at St. George, 4th at Florida, right? You've been on fire.
Yeah, I've had a really good year. So yeah, won Ecuador. That was my most recent race. Really solid result there. That's kind of, for qualifying for this race, I think that was important. It got me up in the ranking high enough to where I could be kind of seen as someone who could be selected. Like I was in the hunt kind of, but that got me from like 9th international to 6th. But before that, the race that really got me, on the map for qualification was definitely St. George. 5th
the
there.
field is so good.
Yeah, and that was just a lot of points for me, so that just skyrocketed my ranking and really got me to where I need to be. So yeah, the year's been awesome, and I think I've been building throughout all those races. Like Ecuador is my most recent, so I really plan to peak for this race and to carry that through 70.3 Worlds. So I think, I'm ready to take it up another half a notch or full notch for Collins Cup, which I'll need because of, who we got to race with.
So yeah, Collins Cup, and then a couple weeks later you got St. George.
Right, yeah. So 3 weeks, I'm going to head down and do a training camp there and just, get ready to have another really solid race. It couldn't be a more different course.
I was going to say, right? Because St. George, there's a lot of climbing, and then the course here is pretty flat.
Right. Yeah. It's really flat here. St. George is really hilly. So I'll just be changing the specificity of my training after this one and kind of trying to get ready for those hills. And that's what kind of comes natural to me is more the hillier courses. The flat courses I've been preparing specifically for, and I feel like I'm ready for it. But getting back into doing some hills, it won't take me long to get that back.
What got you into the sport? Were you an endurance guy growing up?
Yeah, I was more of a team sports guy. Played hockey in Canada, of course, and I did do kind of cross country and running from like maybe 9 or 10, but I never really trained. And then I kind of got more into the endurance sports in high school. Just started realizing where my strengths were and gravitating towards that. So I was a fairly successful runner in high school, and then kind of found triathlon towards the end of high school. And just was pretty recreational, and then eventually just got more and more competitive, and kind of made the jump to pro in about 2013. And yeah, since then it's just been kind of getting better every year. That's the beauty of triathlon, is there's always something you can improve. There's so many ways to get better.
So, but there was a point in 2015 where you were thinking about quitting the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I considered, I think everyone's had those moments, but I kind of did a race 2015 in
Des Moines?
It was Des Moines, yeah. It was an Olympic distance race, and I was like, oh, I'm in great shape. Like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to be competing for, a top 3, and I was just like, got destroyed. And like, I lost by 8 minutes or something in an Olympic distance race.
Yeah.
And so I just, I felt like, how can I ever get to that level that I knew I wanted to be at? So, but I was pretty young, like, 2015, 6 years ago, I'm like 22 years old. And, I just kind of thought things were going to be maybe a little faster than they were. And then, instead of quitting, I kind of decided to just, stick with the long game, keep training and not put too much pressure on myself and see if I can keep getting better. And then the very next race that I did was in the spring of 2016. And, the same guy, Cam Dye, who beat me by like 8 minutes, he then beat me by like a minute and a half. And I just had closed so much of that gap so quickly. I never did beat Cam Dye before he retired. He's got to come out of retirement.
Show up at his house and just kick his
challenge
butt.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just decided to play the long game, just enjoy the training, enjoy the process. And that's kind of been more successful than me, trying to say, oh, I got to be here at a certain time.
So are you liking this whole team concept?
Oh, it's awesome. Like, it's so cool to be part of it. And I just know that that's going to be, encouragement to go that extra little bit. Like, you do not want to let your team down. You want to represent, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, especially you got your guys team with you and Lionel and Braden Curry and Sam Appleton and Max Newman and Kyle Smith. That's you guys are going to be good.
Yeah, we hope so. I think we're ready. A lot of these guys, a few of these guys I've raced with quite a bit, and a few of them I've never raced with. But we're just gonna. I think all of us are ready to take on whoever
you're
whoever, and I think everyone knows like the internationals and US are probably going to be really trying to match up with Europe and say, if we can take on Europe, then we could win this race.
Right.
Because, Europe's got to be the
Europe's
favorite.
stacked.
Like
Big time.
they're loaded.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we can give them a run. I really do. And I know that there's a couple guys on our team who are ready to take on Jan if they have to. And I'm ready to race whoever if I have to. So, we're all going to have to perform, our best race to have a chance. But I think we can do it.
For after St. George, what's the rest of your season look like?
I'm just going to race one more time, hopefully doing Ironman Mallorca.
Oh, with that? Yeah, okay.
So that'll be my first full. So that'll be fun, but definitely focusing on these next two. And then it's only a 4-week break after St. George. So I'll just have a couple weeks to get a little bit more of that endurance and longer stuff. I did increase and do some longer runs and rides this year before these races to kind of prepare. So I think it'll suit me, and hopefully, travel can still happen and things like that. And I'm able to go and try that. And then 6 days after that race, I'm getting married. So I better be back home. Back home for that. And then I'll be probably calling it a season, obviously, after that race, because I'm not going to be trying to build back up. We're going on a honeymoon, and I'm not going to be trying to train through November. So
you're going to be trying to step up curbs is what you're going to be trying to do after doing a full.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Jackson, great I don't think we've chatted since New York Tri. God, was that 5 years ago or something?
At least 3. It was like 2017 or 18,
something like that.
So it's been awesome. Yeah, I love. I always watch your interviews, so it's cool to. I don't know if I'll watch my own. Maybe I will. We'll see how I look.
You watch your own. You're wearing that cool looking shirt. You got the trophy in the backdrop.
Yeah,
it's
that
pretty
thing's
sweet.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
How'd you guys arrange to have this for your interviews?
We just sort of rolled it over and hoped nobody would notice. It was just sort of sitting there. Nobody was watching.
Perfect.
It at the time, so it was good.
Well, hopefully we'll be hoisting that in a couple of days.
Exactly. You can put it in the overhead. I think it'll go.
Nice.
Yeah. Jackson Laundrie has been our guest, everybody. Again, this is Breakfast with Bob from the Challenge Championship and the Collins Cup right here behind us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. See ya.